Chapter 11. Death by Arpeggio. Strutting like a proud peacock, the goat-lover made his way down the empty Verona street. Were it not for the darkness of night, his face would be seen as strikingly handsome. He was short, yet well-muscled, with dark brown hair that was neither long nor short. On he strode without a care, musing o'er his many bestial conquests. Pigs and sheep were among them, yet to him they paled in comparison to the feel and smell of a female goat in estrus. Since the springtime of his youth, hundreds of goats in Verona did he ravage in secret. No woman e'er brought him the same thrill, the same overwhelming pleasure, as that of a goat trapped in his manly grasp. "Ducey!" a woman's voice called out. He turned his handsome face to the sound of his name. "How now, who speaks?" Rosaline stepped out of the darkness and into the moonlight, a stern beauty in the empty street. "I am the Inquisitor of Verona," she said. Ducey shook his head and shrugged. "An odd calling for a pretty maid so young," he said with a friendly laugh. "You think me pretty?" "Ay, my lady." Rosaline arched an eyebrow. "Though not as pretty as a goat, at least in thy eyes, yes?" Startled, the comely man's smile melted like a candle in a forge. "I know not what you mean," he said. Rosaline took a step forward. "Thou didst make a drunken confession on a night of revelry. To Friar John thou didst admit to making thyself and half the goats of Verona unclean with thine unnatural lust." Ducey barely remembered that night. "I was drunk," he defended. "I must have spoken in crude jest. But oh, since when doth Friar John report such things to his superiors? 'Tis a betrayal of the sinner's trust." "So you admit the sin?" she said, her eyes widening, her plump lips parting into a smile. Backing away, Ducey cast a hard look at the young woman. "Let me alone, mad woman." He turned to continue his way down the street, but found it blocked by one of Rosaline's tall lictors. The bodyguard's foil was drawn and pointed at the goat-lover. Not lacking for courage, Ducey drew his rapier. His dark eyes glared at the lictor, his strong limbs ready to move and fight. Then he heard two more swords being drawn behind him. He turned and turned again, and saw himself surrounded by three tall, stout men with matching garments and grim bearing. Fear stung Ducey's heart shortly before a razor-tipped point stung his hip. Yelping, he tried to run and beat away the darting points. He did not make it far. In seconds he was hunched and kneeling. Every part of him was covered in blood, every part save his sword. The lictors stood about him, their dripping points poised to strike. Rosaline stepped before him. "Thou art corrupted, Ducey. Now is the time to confess." Despite his pains, Ducey sneered at her in defiance. "I already gave it to the friar, wench." He tried to stab her, but a lictor's blade flayed the skin off his wrist. The goat-lover's rapier fell as he screamed. "Confess to thy possession, man," Rosaline said, her words strengthened by faith and authority. "Did you not tell Friar John that dreams guided thy foul desires? That visions of goats as thou slept did prompt you to couple with them?" "Aye," Ducey said, still sneering and clutching his wrist. "But the dreams were born of mine own desire." "Nay," the Inquisitor replied, "'twas the other way round. Thy desire was born from those dreams." She looked at him in pity and with disgust. "I see it, I sense it, I know it. Queen Mab hath been with you." Ducey shook his head. "Who?" Rosaline paced around him. "Some good Christians call her a fairy. Heathens would call her a succubus, a fiendish muse spawned from the devil. For centuries she has plagued Verona with her mischief, madness, and woe. She turns neighbour against neighbour, inspires inventions most unholy, and makes men of weak will fall in love with that which should be left alone. Thou art much like Romeo Montague, fair of face and shagging that which he should not shag." "You are mad," Ducey roared as he trembled cold and stinging. "My crimes may be detestable, but at least I am no murderer like thee and thy heartless brutes." Rosaline frowned. "I am sworn to end Queen Mab's evil machinations, no matter the cost, for the good of Verona. Thou hast defiled flesh that was eaten by her subjects. Thou may be absolved due to thy confession. But you are an agent of Mab, and must, therefore, die." Her cold eyes yielded to the warmth of sympathy. "I tell thee all this because you deserve to know. Farewell, Ducey." Frantic, Ducey glanced about at the three lictors. "No!" he cried. Rosaline raised her chin and addressed her men. "Arpeggio." 1, 2, 3 blades pierced through the body of the goat-lover. With each stab, Ducey screamed louder and shriller. Then he gave up the ghost and the rest of his blood.